He just laid there on the bed with his legs in the air and took the pounding. Ranjit was jailed for 25 years and was terrified of going to prison because he was a skinny Indian guy who couldn't fight to save his life. After a few weeks in prison, Ranjit was moved on to a wing in a cell all by himself. Not wanting to get turned out in prison, he stayed in his cell as much as he could just to be safe. During Ranjit's stay on the wing, he fell in love with a beautiful prison guard called Amy. Amy was that girl next door. She was white with long blonde hair, no tattoos, minimal makeup and a gorgeous smile. Amy was perfect, and when Ranjit saw her, he instantly fell in love with her. Just to see Amy, Ranjit would pretend he was ill and Amy would come to the rescue but wouldn't stay long in his cell. As soon as she found out he was lying, she left in a hurry. He fell in love with her beautiful face and her amazing smile. He thought at least getting 1 second of Amy's time would still be worth it, which would be enough and make Ranjit's day. But one day everything changed. Early in the morning, while still in bed, Ranjit's cell door opened, and guess who it was? It was Amy. Had she finally come to confess her love for him, which would lead to them becoming husband and wife when Ranjit was released from prison? Had she finally come to tell Ranjit she had always been in love with him the moment she first locked eyes on him? Nope. Because 2 seconds later another guard also walked in the cell. Both officers only came for a cell search, looking for things that shouldn't be there. Ranjit's heart sank as his one true love didn't even look at him while she was searching his cell. It was like he was invisible. While Amy and her colleague were going through Ranjit's cell, Ranjit noticed a wedding ring on her finger, and that's when his day got even worse. Ranjit asked Amy if she was married and she replied saying, "Yes, I'm married." His day just crashed, and at that moment he wished someone could just dig a hole in his cell and throw him in it. He was devastated and heartbroken. He said to Amy, "I always thought you were single." Amy laughed and replied saying, "No, what gave you that impression? I've been with my husband for 6 years and we are expecting our first child soon." Ranjit replied saying, "You are pregnant," with a terrified look on his face. Amy replied with the happiest look on her face saying, "Yes. Isn't this amazing?" With an angry look on his face, Ranjit replied saying, "Yes, it's amazing." Once Amy and her colleague were finished searching Ranjit's cell, both officers left. Ranjit then burst into tears because his day just turned into a nightmare. The woman he loved and thought would be his future wife was already married to another man. Ranjit started to punch the air in his cell saying, "I can't believe some loser stole and married my wife and cream-pied her, and she's also having his baby. I can't believe she is sleeping with another man. She was supposed to be mine." Ranjit then had a sinister look on his face and said, "If I can't have her, nobody can have her," and that's when he came up with a plan. The next day Ranjit pressed the buzzer in his cell and Amy came to his door. She then said, "What is it this time, Ranjit?" But this time was serious as Ranjit was on the floor passed out, so Amy rushed into the cell and checked his nose and mouth, but Ranjit wasn't breathing, so Amy gave Ranjit CPR to save his life, and that's when Ranjit got up and grabbed her. He started kissing her while shouting at her saying, "How could you cheat on me with another man, and you are having his baby too? You are sick." Amy was frightened and desperately trying to escape, but Ranjit was just too strong and threw her onto the bed while saying, "I've been waiting for this moment since I got into this prison. If only you just picked me instead of him, all this wouldn't be happening right now." Amy then said, "Why are you doing this to me? Because me and you were never together, so where has this all come from?" Ranjit replied saying, "I thought we were both in love with each other. I see you looking at me sometimes and you are friendly to me." Amy replied saying, "I look at everyone. I have to be friendly to the inmates because it's part of my job." Ranjit then replied saying, "So you have zero feelings for me?" Amy then said, "I have zero feelings for you because I'm not attracted to Asian guys, I only like black guys." Amy then told Ranjit, "Plus I would never date you. You are in prison for crimes against young teenage girls, so why would I date a man like that?" Ranjit replied saying, "I thought we were going to build a life together. I thought we would be together forever." Amy laughed and said, "Ranjit, you need help. Let me go and we will get you some help. You have created an imaginary relationship with me and there was never any chance of us being together. Let me just go and we will help you." Ranjit replied saying, "No, you are not going anywhere until I get what I want. Now take off your uniform right now." Amy said, "Please just let me go, I can't do that." So Ranjit pushed her onto the bed and jumped on her, and that's when another guard ran into the cell and grabbed Ranjit and threw him into the wall. Amy then got up and ran for her life out of the cell. She was traumatized by what happened. Ranjit was now on the floor curled up in a ball saying to the officer, "I'm sorry, please don't hurt me, I'm so sorry." The guard was a big white guy who was ex-army and started laughing while saying, "You have a history of acts against women and especially young women, which is the reason why you are in prison, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to throw you a party which will cure you from your illness because you need help and I'm just the man for the job." The guard then walked out the cell and closed the door. Ranjit could hear Amy crying as she walked away with the guard. Ranjit was now devastated, thinking to himself, "What have I done? I have hurt the woman of my dreams and now she is gone. I am so stupid." Ranjit then cried himself to sleep to try to ease the pain. A few hours later Ranjit's cell door opened and it was the guard again. He said to Ranjit, "Pack your bags, we are moving you into a new cell and we have also thrown you a party too." Ranjit, feeling really confused, said to himself, "Doesn't this guard realize what I did? And now he is throwing me a party. What's going on?" Once Ranjit was packed, he walked with the guard to the most dangerous block in the entire prison. The other block he was on was very quiet, but this new block was the total opposite. There was loud music playing in almost every cell with mean looks on every inmate's faces as Ranjit walked past them. One inmate even shouted saying, "Guys, we have a Bollywood movie star supermodel on our wing now," and everyone started laughing while another shouted at Ranjit saying, "Hey Bollywood supermodel, I'm going to come and see you tomorrow woman," while another shouted, "Oi Bollywood boy, do an Indian dance for me," but Ranjit, feeling scared, stayed silent and just walked past all the other inmates without saying a word to them. Once the officer and Ranjit got to his new cell, the officer said, "Welcome to your new wing," while he opened the cell door. The officer quickly pushed Ranjit in the cell and quickly locked the door while laughing as he walked off. Ranjit was now in a two-man cell with two single beds on each side of the cell. He could see a big tall black guy sleeping on one of the beds. This guy was so huge his legs couldn't even fit all the way on the bed. He was at least 7 foot tall. The big black guy then woke up and said, "I've been expecting you," and as he got up Ranjit was terrified. Ranjit thought to himself as he looked at this guy, thinking to himself, "This guy is a living giant." The big black guy said, "Welcome to the party, my name is Purple." Ranjit looked at Purple like he just saw a ghost. He said to himself, "I know that name and I've heard stories about him. I thought Purple was a mythical character like Bigfoot or the Boogeyman. I didn't think he was actually real. He goes around squeezing boys' muscles and then turning them out." At this moment Ranjit knew he was in trouble, and that's when Purple backhand slapped Ranjit, causing 6 of his teeth to fall out of his mouth. Ranjit was terrified as he looked down, seeing 6 of his teeth on the floor. Purple's slap felt like he got hit in the face with 10 baseball bats. Ranjit, feeling scared, he just stood there totally shocked while he held onto his mouth to stop any more teeth from falling out. Purple then removed his own boxer shorts and said, "Give me some chan chan. Come and sit on my tings, woman." Ranjit could now see Purple's tings as he removed his boxer shorts, and he was hard as a rock. Purple's tings were huge. Purple then said to Ranjit, "Come and sit on my tings," but Ranjit said, "Purple, please, I can't do this because I'm not gay." Purple got up angry and shouted at Ranjit, saying, "You have upset me and now I'm angry, so I'm going to just take your cheeks instead." Ranjit ran over to the emergency buzzer to call for help and pressed it while shouting, "Guards, please help me. Someone help me." Purple picked up Ranjit like a rag doll and said, "You are now my woman and you are not going anywhere," and then threw him across the room with Ranjit hitting his head on the wall. Purple then picked up Ranjit with one hand and threw him on the bed and then jumped on him. He ripped off Ranjit's clothes like they were made of tracing paper. Then he got his tings and slammed it into Ranjit. Ranjit screamed and everyone heard it on the wing. The other inmates started laughing. One even shouted, "Purple is taking Bollywood to Pound Town." All the other inmates heard as Ranjit was getting his cheeks clapped out in the cell, and they were all laughing. Purple had Ranjit's legs behind his head as he pounded out Ranjit. A guard heard all the noise, so they opened the door and walked into the cell. Purple didn't even care and continued to pound Ranjit's cheeks. Ranjit was dazed after Purple threw him into the wall, but could see what guard it was, and guess who it was? It was Amy. She was looking right at him and laughing. Ranjit said to Amy, "Save me, help me." Amy just stood there for 5 minutes watching Ranjit get his back blown out and then turned around and walked out the cell, leaving Purple to continue pounding Ranjit. Ranjit, feeling defeated, knew there was nothing he could do to stop Purple from pounding his cheeks, so he just laid there on the bed with his legs in the air and took the pounding. He just laid there in pain while watching the sweat drip from Purple's face onto his chest. Purple continued to pound Ranjit's cheeks for 3 hours and then left the biggest load of cream pie inside of Ranjit. Once Purple finished, he went on his own bed and within 10 seconds he was fast asleep. The cell door flap opened and it was Amy again. She asked Ranjit if he enjoyed his party. She then told him, "This is your punishment," and also said he will be in this cell until he leaves prison, so get used to the pounding from Purple. She then closed the cell door flap and walked off laughing. Ranjit couldn't believe what just happened. Finally he understood what his victims went through when he did this to them. He just laid on the bed in tears, thinking to himself, "I can't believe I've just been turned out in prison.